is look at the number ones and tell me which one is most vulnerable, Tyler. Which number one seed do you think goes down first, if any? I'm hoping you're not picking chalk to go to the Final Four. Which one's the most vulnerable?
Right now, I'd have to say Duke, and I think their path is actually almost the easiest. And the reason I say that, Duke Cooper Flag status, that's a little bit of a question mark. Is he going to be 100%? He's you have a guy of his talent, and he's not able to play. It makes a difference, and they've relied on Cooper Flag for a lot of things this year. And when you have a guy doing that much across the board, if he's not going to be at 100%, I have questions for Duke. And also Duke's youth concerns me. They are a team that relies a lot on freshmen. Yes, they have good quality veteran guys who can step up and play their role, but a majority of their impact players, Con Knipple, now you watch both freshmen. So that would be my main concern. And you know what? I think Bama, at the end of the day, if they do meet Bama and Duke does make it down the bracket to Bama, I think Bama's going to win that game as well.
Now, just one update before Jarrell goes here. Bama, the update on Grant Nelson. He missed the second half of the last game. And I talked to Nate Oates about it. He's going to see a specialist tomorrow. Nate doesn't think it's bad, knee injury. He thinks it's going to be something that he'll be able to play the first game. But we'll see. We'll see. I mean, obviously, that might be a game where you give him the extra day or two against Robert Morris and sit him and get prepared for either St. Mary's or Vandy in the second round. All right, Jarrell, who do you got, the number one seed?
I think, Tyler, I agree with you just with the Cooper Flag injury being a concern, but I'll go a different way just because I also think Duke probably got the easiest draw just as far as potential opponents for the first couple of games. Crazy enough as this is going to sound, Jeff, and I know we've been kind of big up in them, like Coach Pearl just said before he got off with us. I think right now this is the hottest team in the country. But, man, I'm worried about a potential Florida and UConn matchup in round 2. I do hope we get it. But, man, that'll be a crazy game. Obviously, UConn isn't or hasn't produced and kind of performed this year as the last couple of years. But at the end of the day, until somebody beats them in the NCAA tournament, they are the reigning champs. So Florida is the hottest team in the country right now, probably playing the best basketball in the country. And I think they're probably the most complete team in the country as well, too. They check all the boxes. They got great depth. They got arguably the best guard in the country, great size and things like that. And, we're looking at a potential where they're going to run into the Huskies, though, in round 2, obviously, if both teams win. But I'm a little bit concerned about that. I don't know if that's a great draw for Florida. It'll be an intense game, and I know if nothing else, that Coach Hurley is kind of laying low right now. With kind of flying under the radar a little bit, so in a different position than he's usually in, and probably gonna get an opportunity to shock the world right out of the gate and let them know that they're still the champs. So I'm a little bit concerned about that second round matchup.
All right, I'm with you only because the West region is the toughest region. So I can go with that because I'm not so worried about Cooper's injury. I've been told by a couple sources that it's not anything too serious. So I think he'll be okay. I think they'll be fine. Florida's region is loaded. I mean, look at these teams, the programs, the coaches. I mean, if you're Ty Golden, right, you got to go up against Danny Hurley maybe in the second round. Then, the bottom half is unbelievable. I mean, think about this, guys. Bill Self versus Tyler's favorite coach, John Calipari, in the first round in the 7-10 game. If I had told you before the season, either one of you guys, a 7-10 would be Cal and his $7 million in NIL against arguably the best coach in the sport, Bill Self. And then, by the way, whoever the winner is, potentially probably place Rick Pitino in Providence, where he used to coach, in front of a crowd that's going to be like so pro Johnny's. Like, that's going to be absolutely amazing. All right, I'm going to go with Houston, guys, as the number one most likely to lose. And here's why. I've got the other all the other 1 seeds, and they're all SEC teams. Auburn, I've got Florida, I've got Tennessee, all going to the Final Four. I'm giving a spoiler here a little bit before we pick our Final Four picks, but and I've got Duke. So Tennessee is my only number 2 seed that is advancing, beating Houston. I got a lot of chalk, but I think it is kind of top heavy this year. I don't think we're going to see the craziness that we've seen. FAU getting to the Final Four, San Diego State getting to the title game a couple of years ago. I don't think we're going to have that. But my question to you guys, if we do get that, give me a team that maybe you guys are high on. It could come out of, not nowhere, but like not a top 4 seed. Is there somebody, Jarrell, that you like that kind of, and you can't pick Marquette. You can't pick Marquette. All right?
Yeah.
Anybody but Marquette. Anybody you like that could come out of nowhere a little bit?
I'm a double right back to that West region, Jeff. I've seen enough of them this year. I'm confident in the coaching ability. I think Missouri can shock some people, and obviously it's not too far off mark because we're staying kind of within that SEC. Like you said, you got 3 of your 4 from the SEC making it to the Final Four. But man, I think Mizzou can kind of shock some people and make a really deep run. And I don't think necessarily going into this thing anybody is kind of expecting it from them on their end. It's obviously, I think it's going to be some upsets, but I'm in agreement with you. I don't think it's not going to be a FAU this year. Like nobody's going to make, like, you know what I'm saying? It'll be some early upsets, but they won't make it to the Final Four type of level. I don't think that's going to happen, but I can see maybe a handful of like 4 or 5 seeds that might get in and kind of get hot at the right time and make a deep run. But I like Mizzou. Dennis Gates has done a tremendous job. I thought the pickup of Mark Mitchell has been huge for them. They got Grills, Bates, so they got enough firepower, and I love their style of play as well too.
Me too. They'll come after Drake, and I love Drake's point guard. He might be my favorite player in the country. Bennett starts, but man, he's going to have a lot on his plate. A lot. They're going to come after him. Tyler, who you got?
Actually, I was going to pick Mizzou. I'm not going to switch my team just off of that. And also, Mizzou did beat Florida this year at Florida. So they're very familiar with them. They're a tough team. They play physical as well. They have a lot of different good players. This is going to be a surprise here. I'm going to go with Creighton. Now, Creighton, Kalkbrenner, veteran player. They haven't had a lot of tournament success. But listen, they have the ability. I like McDermott. I like the Stephen Ashworth kid. He's a veteran player. He can hit shots. So I mean, they're going to have their hands full definitely. If Louisville's going to be a tough task, but if they beat Louisville, they're going to have the ultimate task against Auburn. And I think maybe they play outside themselves, and Kalkbrenner has an unbelievable game and locks down Broome, which is an absolute juggernaut and a huge task. But